Start video transmission. Oh my goodness, I think it worked, ladies and gentlemen. That is very exciting. Oh shit, there's people in the chat already. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We're live, it's working. Huzzah! Oh my goodness. Kind of first try today. I made a little mistake that I had to fix, but
that's okay.
First actual try, we got it.
I had a little technical. That was the perfect amount of technical difficulties. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was okay. We're good. We're going. Welcome to Star Wars Club. I'm literally overjoyed that the stream is working right now. Okay, I'm Jesse Mercury. I'm here with Jane Smith. Hello, Jane.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
I think Jane's face is frozen, but we can hear her okay.
Can you hear me?
We can, yeah.
I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here.
And Jenny Krantz. What's up, Jenny?
Hi. Hello.
Thank you both for being here. We're going to talk about episode 4 of season 2 of The Mandalorian, the Seige. We have some people to say hello to in chat. What's up, Jesse M, Amanda, Adam G, Gamer Guy. What's up, Gamer Guy? Good to see you, my friend. Joe's here. What's up, everybody? Oh, Joe, I'm not even upset. Joe said, Jess, I know you're upset because you didn't get what you want in this episode. Not upset at all. You see, this is the thing. Like, if you're going to take me on a side quest, do it like this. And then then I won't be upset.
Did anyone really think that we were actually going to get to see Ahsoka Tano, like, in this episode? I was not expecting at all. I figured they would make us wait for that.
I was sure.
That's such a big reveal.
I was sure it was going to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, I literally did not at all expect to see her, like, this week. And to be honest, I'm personally selfishly kind of happy because I am still trying, like, I was talking to you guys earlier, I'm on season 4 of the Clone Wars, and I'm trying to get through season 5 before she appears. So I will have time to catch up on Clone Wars, I think, before.
Yes.
But
I actually felt similarly because I know last week I was saying I got to get Ahsoka this week. But I got to tell you guys, I watched season 7 of the Clone Wars since last week, and it's amazing. Well, actually, let me take that back. Season 7 as a whole is 3 arcs. The first 2 are boring, and they're fine. But the third arc is one of my new favorite Star Wars movies because it really feels like that. And it's like it's a companion piece to episode 3, which I like the story of, but I don't like the, presentation of. And this
episode 3 of Mandalorian?
No, of like Star Wars episode 3. Like yes.
Gotcha.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith, yeah. But man, that third arc, the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars is incredible. It's so good. It makes what happens in the prequels feel real, which is ridiculous because it's an animated cartoon.
I know. It's crazy. I was gonna say, like I said, I just finished season 4, but it makes already, I'm like, oh man, even just like getting to know the clone army and like Rex and, some of the characters, I was like, man, this makes Revenge of the Sith hit a lot harder already, and I'm not even through it.
Totally.
Like, I totally see how the show has enhanced the prequels and made them, I don't know, more valuable. I still think they're shitty movies, but
yeah, they're terrible, but that's okay. Yeah.
It can be slightly less terrible.
But yeah, I enjoy them more than I did, even though I still think objective that they're not that great movies. But whatever. I'm loving the Clone Wars now. Like, oh my god, I don't think it's a big spoiler. I mean, Jane, I think you already know Darth Maul comes back.
I know,
but
yeah.
Man,
yeah.
I was not prepared for his, because again, I did it backwards. I saw Rebels and I saw him in Rebels, but like seeing how they find him in Clone Wars, just like, oh my god,
that was dark.
My god, it's so dark.
Yeah, it's so dark. What's up, Relia? Welcome, my friend.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be talking about Mandalorian. I knew I would start talking about Clone Wars, though.
It's okay. Well, what we were going to say is that we're all a little excited to have more time to catch up on the cartoons before next week's episode when we know we're going to get Ahsoka for sure. I was 100% sure that Ahsoka was going to show up in the closing moments of this episode. I didn't expect to see her the whole time, but I really thought we'd get her. What's up, Snapper? Good to see you. Welcome.
Or maybe just in like a hologram or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get something, but I don't even care.
I don't even think we're going to see her like for most of the next episode.
Oh, you think so?
She'll show up like in the closing moments of the next. He's going to like get to the planet. Where's it going? Corvus. and
Corvus,
he's gonna
yeah.
like look for her, and then like there's gonna be complications from the fact that he's got a tracking beacon on the Razor Crest now, and Moff Gideon's gonna like get in his way. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see her until like the last 5 seconds of the next episode.
That's like exactly what I predicted for what we just got, and now I don't know because we know that Dave Filoni is directing next week, so yeah,
she might get 5 minutes, maybe. I don't know, because it is his episode. He's directing it, and it's like the big reveal for the character that he helped co-create. So.
What's up, Rockin' RC? Relia in chat asked, "Does the Mandalorian know there is a tracking beacon?" No, he does not. So that was. Like, there was an Imperial officer that was working for Grief Cargo, one of the guys who fixed Mando's ship, which, by the way, he did in like 10 minutes.
Really
I feel like fixing a ship in Mandalorian is like a video game where you're like upgrade and you click the button and it's like poof, it's done. So that took like 3 seconds.
It was like all shiny and new again too. I was like, dang, like it's on like an hour and like.
Yeah, like where are they getting the parts for this? They're in the middle of nowhere in Navarro. Yeah. There's like 3 little huts there.
Although what they did with Navarro since last time we've been there was amazing. And it warmed my heart. This whole episode warmed my heart so much. And that's why I don't care that we didn't see Ahsoka. We're going to get there eventually. The Jedi have taught me patience, if nothing else. And this episode was great. I loved it. I watched it twice already and I love it. You know, take me on a side quest every week as long as it's like this much Star Wars awesomeness.
If it's a good side quest.
Yeah, and they made up for not. Because I think I was saying after the first or after the second episode, I was like, I just want to see Cara Dune and Grief Karga or like some of these other characters again. So it's like I wasn't mad that we didn't get Ahsoka because I was like, oh, but we get some throwbacks. Some people. Cara Withers is back. And
that's exactly right.
He directed it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's
awesome.
Jenny. That's exactly how I felt because. If you're not going to give me the thing that you told me to expect, give me the thing that I already wanted. And then I'm fine. And then I'm happy. I really wanted to see Cara Dune and Grief Karga again. I love those characters. And they were amazing in this episode. Although I feel like Grief Karga's being a little bit of a dick to the blue guy. What's his name? I want to say Millifred, Millicent. Mithril. Mithril.
Lord of the Rings,
yeah, Mithril is that material from Lord of the Rings.
Metal?
Mithril is like a magical, like bulletproof vest or so whatever vest.
Yeah.
But it's something like that. It started with them.
Oh my goodness, Amanda, patience unless someone makes me wait in Mario Maker. That's totally different. I got no time in Mario Maker. I got places to go. Relia says, this whole show makes me think of a video game. Always, I can help you after you help me first. That's so true. This show is completely structured as if it were like a role-playing video game. And I'm okay with that. I like that.
It doesn't bother me. I don't know.
Adam says he thinks they're overusing that. And that's something I wanted to ask you both about. Do we feel like we're overusing this plot structure where Mando shows up on a planet and they say, yeah, we got something you need. We'll give it to you if you help us first. And then they go on a side quest adventure. I feel like it's like House. Did anyone watch House? Every episode of House was, oh my God, this person has a mysterious illness. Oh my God, we've solved it. Oh my God, we didn't solve it. They're going to die. Oh my God, I actually solved it. Credits. It's every episode.
Every time.
Yeah. And if that's what we're doing here, I don't mind.
Yeah, they're doing it so well. And it's kind of built into the genre of like bounty hunter, space western kind of thing where it's like he's gonna go on a different adventure and have issues pretty much every time. That's his job. That's what he does. So we're going along and living the life, a day in the life of Mandalorian.
Yeah,
I think it makes sense. Like he's a bounty hunter. This is sort of part of his job. Is what he does is kind of solves problems for people, and he's incredibly powerful and capable. So it makes sense that everyone's always coming to him for help. Like he's a good guy to have, and
he's a problem solver.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could see it. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I think even for me, like I kind of like sometimes a little bit of predictability. Mm-hmm. Like I once read something about. Like every night before bed, I always watch some show like Friends or something familiar. Like that's how I fall asleep.
Like Frasier.
Because I find it very easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I read an article one time that there's actually some science behind that shows like Friends or these sitcoms that are they follow, and every episode is the same. Character has a problem, get in a fight, and it's always resolved, and it's very, and that there's something actually really like comforting for people with a lot of anxiety because they kind of can know what to expect, and everything's always wrapped up and stuff. And I don't know, maybe that's why I don't mind it in this show, because there's something like I like having a little bit of predictability.
Yeah, Amanda said the word formulaic. Formulaic is exactly right, and I totally agree. I think it's comforting. There's something that kind of relaxes me about it. It's like, some people you follow on TikTok who do the same exact thing every day. It's like, it doesn't matter what they say. I smile as soon as I see it because I'm like, oh, good. This is something familiar that I am more than likely going to enjoy. It's like watching my favorite streamers play Mario. It doesn't get old, If they changed up the format, I'd probably get mad.
Or it's like an artist that has a particular style, and it's like, what to expect from this artist. They're all a little different, but you can tell, oh, that's a Mark Rothko, that's a Picasso, that's a Pollock, whatever. So it's, I don't know. It's I think they switch it up enough in each episode where, again, the monster is always something so freaking cool and something different, and there's so much going on visually. Again, taking us to new planets. Most of the time, a lot of times they just stick to Tatooine, but that it just it just made me mad. I hope that maybe they break it up a little bit. Like, I'm okay with it in general. This is the formula, and then I hope sometimes things are thrown out of. I don't know. Like, I hope we're surprised sometimes. Is it a cat?
Oh, I think we have a visitor on Jane's screen.
Storm is Stormageddon downstairs, and I'm in. Yeah, so my cat Stormageddon, Dark Lord of All, is my master, and he's told me he'd like to go downstairs. So do his bidding, and now he's just sitting at the top of the ladder, so you can't even. now he's going down. He's going down the ladder. Okay.
One time I was podcasting with Jane, and right when we were about to start, her cat fell out the window. So, all things considered, I've seen worse.
Oh man,
it was. He gets in the weirdest places, but exploring makes him happy. So what am I gonna do? Tell him no?
Yeah. Yes, I wanted to say about the formulaic nature of the show. Everyone knows that I'm like a huge Star Trek nerd. And something I love about Star Trek is that wherever Starfleet goes in the galaxy, people ask for help because people need help all over the galaxy. And they know that Starfleet officers, that's kind of their MO, is to help. And I love that Mandalorians are kind of that way as well. Like, they have this creed, they have this reputation. Yeah. So wherever...
They're honorable.
Yeah, they're honorable. So wherever Mando's going, people are asking for help because he's wearing that armor. And I love that the way he walks through the world is like, he walks in the most expensive armor in the universe. So he's automatically a target, but he's also walking around in Mandalorian armor where everyone knows who he is and what he is. And
like a badge.
Yeah, they know, like, if they're going to mess with him, they got to be ready, and they're probably going to lose. And if they need help, he's a good person to ask. And I think that that's cool. And I like that keeps happening. And I love that he's building these like friendships and relationships all over the galaxy built on being a good person and helping them out. It just like warms my heart. And I just love this show so much.
It's gotta be hard to come by, in the galaxy. People are so used to being betrayed or crossed, or there's a lot of scum and villainy out there.
There's
slightly less in Navarro now.
Yeah, and I love that. There's we're missing a lot of good stuff in the chat. I just want to point a couple things out real quick. Amanda says most early seasons of a show are more formulaic, which is super true. I mean, if you look at the arc of certain shows, I mean, Lost is a good example where they kind of built a formula in their first season, which was, we're going to look at what happens on the island and then do a flashback and learn about these people's lives. And then by the time you get to season 6, it's like the formula is out the window. We got a new formula that was built off of another formula that didn't make sense, that was based off of bad math to begin with. And the show just kind of like goes out the window. So or something like Smallville, which is like really formulaic in its first few seasons, monster of the week type thing, but then builds up this bigger mythology that starts to kind of take over the show, which is, and it gets like really rewarding as you get into the later seasons. And if Mandalorian has the opportunity to run for a really long time, that's kind of the direction I imagine it would go, where it just gets more mythology based as we go along.
as long as Jon Favreau is happy to do it and Dave Filoni and like the people who really care about the story, the instant these creators leave, but Disney wants to keep milking it for money, that's when story can go downhill. But
yeah, and I have a strong feeling that they are not going to do that with Mandalorian. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they only did like 3 or 4 seasons and then moved on to a different Star Wars show. I have a feeling that they're going to kind of cycle us through shows maybe a little quicker because they have this like digital set. It just changes everything about filmmaking, you know, like they're not building.
It's a huge universe, like they can play in any sandbox they want to.
Exactly. Yeah. They have this game engine that they can just load environments into and just have people in front of it. And I mean, it's incredible what they're doing. And we already know we're getting this Obi-Wan Kenobi show that I'm just so excited for. I mean, that was my dream when they announced live action Star Wars or just Star Wars coming back in general. I'm like, give me more Obi-Wan Kenobi with Ewan McGregor because he's incredible. Yeah.
Especially after like getting more of him in Rebels and Clone Wars. I cannot.
And just you wait. Oh man.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. Do we have a release date for that show or even year? Is it next year or have they said? I
don't think we know. I think COVID kind of threw things for a loop. And also, I think they scrapped everything and started over at one point. They're just really trying to make sure it's good. And I don't care. Take as much time as you need. Yeah. You know, just do it right. Yeah.
We can wait for good.
Yeah.
And get that one on the same. If it's the same caliber as we've seen in Mandalorian, then I mean, this show just continued. Like, I just can't get over it. Even this episode, like that scene. Now we're kind of skipping around, but towards the end, you know, as he's like rescuing them, when the ship like kind of flies up, and there's this moment where it's kind of suspended and it gets quiet before. I was like, I feel like it's so visceral and it's so, it's just so exciting. Like I can't get over the effects. At the same time, when I'm watching it, I'm not thinking about like the special effects the way I was with the prequels. Like I'm just in it, but it's like afterwards, I'm just so impressed with like the feel of this. Like, felt like I could reach out, like I was on like a Disneyland ride. Like when the ship goes down, like I felt my heart like go down. Like
I totally agree, and that's so true. Like even with the Clone Wars cartoons, they feel more real than the prequels to me. Like when I'm watching the prequels, I'm just looking at the special effects and not looking at the characters. You know, I'm like, okay, there's a couple humans on a green screen set. That's what my mind is thinking. But like, in Mandalorian, I'm just like, oh man, Baby Yoda just threw up macaroons. And I believe you know, and it all feels real. Relia says it reminds me of Gunslinger by Stephen King, the whole Mandalorian Creed. And those books are incredible. I highly recommend the Dark Tower series. It's amazing stuff. I love all the stuff happening in chat. You guys are amazing. We're talking about universal translators. That does remind me of something that in Star Wars, there is no universal translator because like people speak different languages versus like Star Trek, where we're supposed to believe that there's some sort of technology that's translating everything in real time. They go into it. They go into it very briefly, but never in too much detail because it wouldn't make sense if they did. But with Mandalorian and with Star Wars in general, that's something I love about it is that there's always people speaking in alien languages in the background, or people like one person speaking English, just someone else who's speaking it like Huttese or something. And I feel like the prequels,
they understand.
Yeah, I feel like the prequels didn't do that as much, where like everyone spoke, you know, English or Galactic Basic or whatever you want to call it. But I really love it when Star Wars has aliens that are subtitled because I prefer them to speak their native languages. I just think it's a fun wrinkle. And this episode did that in the very beginning when Cara Dune goes into the old Mandalorian covert and finds all of those funky looking aliens before. We've seen that alien before.
Yeah, that's the with Dr. Baba
something.
But is it the guy in the it's the guy in the cantina, isn't it? With the doctor
Ponda Baba.
Yeah.
Ponda Baba, that's what it is. I think you're right. Yeah.
Like you. I don't like you either, right? Yeah. Isn't that the same? If not, they look really similar.
Oh, interesting. Adam says, if I'm being honest, I like the first 3 episodes better for the most part. I like
They're
1, 3, and 4
Aqualish.
the best. I didn't love episode 2 as much.
I like it a lot better than season 2. I mean,
episode 2. Yeah. And what was that, Jane? Aqualush?
Aqualish.
Aqualish. That's the name of the species?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
With the little...
That was another
mouths.
cool... the little weasel looking... Because I assume that was all animatronic.
Yeah.
Okay. Did anyone else see the concept art for that at the end of the episode?
Yes, where it's breathing fire?
Breathing fire!
I saw that.
I hope we see him again. I hope Cara Dune has a little, like, friend now, like an ally, and he's just like...
He comes to save the day, and like...
Yeah. Pulls, like, a Khaleesi, and just, like...
I am going to be a bummer here and say I didn't like that weasel.
Oh, really?
Because it's just a meerkat. It doesn't look like a space creature, you know? If you're going to go to the trouble of building an animatronic creature for Star Wars, make it like a Salacious Crumb or something, you know, that doesn't look like it's from Earth.
I mean, they've got a mix of things, I think, that are
I think there's
familiar,
enough diverse
like
things.
The banthas are familiar looking, like they look like a cross between like an elephant and a buffalo or something like that.
Yeah,
like a woolly mammoth kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of the things are totally out there, but I don't know. I liked that.
It's for the girls, Amanda says. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Amanda says it's for the girls because it's cute.
Yeah, it's for us.
Well, I almost got the impression though, because it almost felt like, I mean, I know she was just talking out loud, but it almost felt like the thing was like understanding her.
Yeah.
So I was almost wondering if it was like the frog lady, like where this is actually like a sentient being, like not a little creature that's just like food. It was actually like hearing, and it was like she was like, oh no, like it was thanking her, and it was, I don't know. I just kind of like the idea of it being an alien, like you see it later sitting in the cantina, like having a drink or something, and I mean, clearly that's not.
That's the impression I got too, that it had intelligence.
Yeah,
which I like. I like the idea. Like I like her hooking up with this weird weasel creature. I just wish that make it at least like bright blue or something. You know, make it something that doesn't look human or like Earth. I guess it doesn't look like a human, but like an Earth creature.
That makes sense.
Adam says, little weasel can be cute and sentient, but strong, nice spiders can't be.
Oh,
you got me there.
Well,
spiders. I never want to see those spiders again.
I just watched Rebels today with those spiders in it.
Oh yeah, I went back and watched that Rebels episode after that Mandalorian one just to remind myself of them. They're not as scary, and I mean, obviously because it's animated, but they're still, even in that show, they were creepy and they were disturbing.
They're all over the planet where they have Chopper Base in season 3. I'm on like season 3 episode like 13 or 14, I think, of Rebels. But that's another reason why I don't mind waiting on Ahsoka, because
that's right.
I'm trying to finish Rebels. I'm almost there.
Yeah. No, I'm okay waiting for her. I liked this episode. I thought I liked the I don't know. I mean, getting a little dark with the going into like, what were they like? Were they clones? Like it looks like they're cloning.
Yes, thank you. We got to talk about this. It's got to be Palpatine, right? It's totally got to be Palpatine.
It's got to be.
Okay,
they're working on
I love this. I've already seen people complaining about this on the internet, but I liked Rise of Skywalker. I liked Palpatine coming back. And if this is bridging the gap between, you know, Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. So this is in the time where Palpatine is supposedly dead, and they're working on these weird genetic experiments where they need a creature that has a high M count in its blood, which you know is midichlorians.
Which I'm not super excited about midichlorians coming back. I feel like they learned that wasn't very well, and they've kind of left at least from, I haven't seen a lot of midichlorian talk.
They're trying to clean up the mess of like throwing out the MacGuffin of midichlorians. Just like, all right, we're gonna just kind of ease it back into the canon and just make it not as big of a deal. We're just gonna call it an M count.
Like I didn't mind it. Like I was excited when they said that, and they kind of circled back to the experiments they were doing with the child, and then seeing the floating. Like, could you tell? I couldn't quite tell. Like, I was like, are those Snokes like in the like little like tubes or something? I couldn't make out what.
That's what Jesse M is saying in chat. It's either Snoke or Palpatine, I think. That they're either working on a clone body so that Palpatine can have his consciousness put into a new body, and maybe that's how he survived, or like. Yeah. I mean, it looked like in Rise of Skywalker, he looks dead, you know, like his fingers are all gross, and then he pulls the Force into him, and then he becomes better. Yeah. So it's very likely that is his original body, and he's like, his body is dead, but is still animated by his Force consciousness. Somehow he's able to hold on. And then maybe like cloning Snoke is some way that they can give him a way to kind of be out and about in the galaxy and still like maintain his power. With some sort of like visual front. Yeah.
Like Snoke is kind of like them working to get Palpatine back, and they like kind of succeeded, but it's not really Palpatine, but he's kind of like, so I think it's both of them.
Yeah, it's definitely something involving that. And then Relius says, so the high M count, they are able to learn cloning. My theory on this is that the reason that they're trying to get the child, the asset, the reason they're trying to track this child down is that his species is naturally high in the Force. They have a lot of midichlorians in their blood. Midichlorians are the microscopic organisms through which the Force communicates to the person. And yes, we all hated this when this came out in the prequels, but you know what? It's been around for so long, and it happened, and it's not like you can wipe it out of Star Wars, so let's do something interesting with it. I love that. And in episode 3, when they have the whole idea that Anakin was born of the midichlorians, and that maybe Darth Sidious, aka Palpatine himself, is the reason that happened. So like Palpatine is maybe kind of Anakin's father through the Force using the midichlorians. They've already kind of proven that midichlorians can be interesting. And if that's why they're tracking down Baby Yoda, because he's strong in the Force, because his species is, we don't know anything about his species except that all the versions of his species we've seen, Yoda, Yaddle, and Baby Yoda, were all Jedi, or at least had Force powers. We can assume that they're high in the Force, have a high midichlorian count. So the Empire is trying to track down blood with a high midichlorian count to use in their cloning so that the Emperor can inhabit that body somehow using the Force. That's my theory. We'll see what happens when we get through more of the show.
Just a quick. Go ahead.
You got. Well, I was gonna say. All right. So when we saw the doctor guy in the little hollow talking about he was talking to Moff Gideon, and he says, "I killed the child." Do we think there was another Baby Yoda, or was it some other?
He said he couldn't. He said he couldn't take more blood without killing the child.
Yeah.
The child. He said the child is small.
Misunderstood. Okay.
I think so. Okay. Yeah. He said the child is small. We can only take a small amount of blood, and then they lost the asset. Because remember when they briefly had the child in season 1, and Mando got him back, and he looked like drugged. They probably just like sucked out all his blood, or like as much as they could without killing him.
Because the message was confusing. It sounded like he said he killed an asset, and that he lost this one. But he's talking about the same.
I'm pretty sure.
Same Baby Yoda.
I'm pretty sure he said we can't take more blood at a time.
I only watched it once.
Yeah.
So I gotta go back. Okay.
Yeah, I was paying very close attention because the first time I'm like, did he just say M count? Is he talking about midichlorians? And are they like talking about midichlorians without saying the word? Because I love that, because it's like.
Right. But they were just chill about it. They're like, we're gonna mention it. It's still technically canon, but we don't want to make a big deal.
Joe is saying something to Adam, but it looks like he's saying Adam Palpatine. As if Palpatine's first name was Adam. Adam Palpatine said it himself in Rise of Skywalker. It was an actual line in the movie that he was Snoke. Yeah. He says in the movie, I am Snoke, but I think what that means is that Snoke is an empty shell that is animated by Palpatine's consciousness through the Force. Yeah.
I took it as a metaphorical, he's just a pawn.
I took it as like Snoke is some sort of weird clone that has no consciousness of its own, and Palpatine is like, whenever you hear Snoke speaking, it is Palpatine speaking through Snoke. Yeah. Yes, Adam Palpatine. Oh yeah, and there's talk in chat about whether or not Snoke is a clone of Palpatine that maybe didn't work quite right, and that's why it doesn't look exactly right. we possibly. I like that as a theory. It's like, how else are they gonna like build this body? Why not use Palpatine's genes to start with? Sure, but it could be anyone. We don't really have that information yet. Maybe this show will give some to us. But the idea that just the idea in general that Mandalorian is backfilling some canon for Rise of Skywalker, I think is fantastic. I think that's what I loved about the expanded universe novels back in the day. It's like getting more context for things just delights me as a nerd. So I love it.
But also at the end, like, because, you know, so yeah, we see the clones or whatever, the experiments in the tubes, but then that last scene with Moff Gideon, he's like standing in the ship with these like rows that I also couldn't make out. I was like, are these Darth Vader suits or something? Like they looked like, they looked like shock trooper something. Yeah, like shock troopers or something.
Yeah, what were those?
But I couldn't.
I think it's shock troopers that were the ones that killed Jyn Erso's mother, that were in like all black.
Oh yeah. You're right.
The ones that are actually able to shoot.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell what that was at the end.
Yeah, like I didn't know if that's something that those were the clone bodies. That they're like making another.
Oh my goodness! Look at my shirt is just all Han Solo's.
Nice.
I was gonna ask you about that because I could see the top of his head.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't have all the details yet. It's super fun to guess, and I feel like they gave us some really juicy lore tidbits in this episode. So I'm just like really, really excited to see where it goes. Okay, Adam said two things I want to touch on here. He said, didn't we hear a little glimpse of Snoke's theme when we saw the Mandalorian cloning scene? I don't know, but I have to go check because I love that, if that's true. He also says, I'm undecided between them being some sort of battle droid / exoskeleton or force sensitive clones. Yeah, I don't know. It was so dark. It's really hard to see what was in those rows behind Moff Gideon, but they're up to some nasty shit. I don't know what it is, but I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited. One of the things I was thinking though was with Baby Yoda, so we're talking about like he's like other than because Yaddle or what, we don't hear him talk, right? We only hear
Yaddle is a woman. I think. Yeah,
I think it's a. So,
you think like, okay, so in the very opening scene when he's doing the repairs and he's like talking to Baby Yoda, and Baby Yoda is apparently understanding what he's saying, and Baby Yoda is doing like electrical work and stuff. It had me thinking, like, I wonder if Baby Yoda, the child, starts speaking, is he gonna talk in like Yoda speak, like love you, I do, or because, but if he's not taught that way, is that natural to talk backwards, or because the Mandalorian is raising him, is he going to just be like, hello guys, like he's just going to talk normally?
I think he's going to talk. He's going to talk in circles. He's going to be like, eggs I want, yummy cookies.
I'm so curious
they are.
He just automatically make it like if that's like a species thing, or if I don't know.
They better.
Their native language.
If they don't, I'll be mad. I want him to speak like Yoda.
I think he's gonna be just like Din Djarin. I mean, like the scene where they were both drinking the broth. And he took his helmet off a little bit, like he's already starting to crack a little bit in his.
And Baby Yoda's just like,
zealous ways.
He like wants to see his face.
He could totally see, if not 100% of his face. He saw
he caught some chin.
Half. he got at least half of that face. So he's starting to warm up a little bit. You know,
Pascal chin action.
Although we don't even know whose chin that was. I keep seeing these rumors online that Pedro has left the show. Which I don't.
He does.
I don't think it's true.
He does the voice acting, but he doesn't always do the body acting.
Hey, Mama Slayer.
Sometimes it's a stunt double.
Yeah, I think it's normally.
He just does the voice.
It's usually not him on set, as far as I've read. Yeah. There's like 3 or 4 people since season 1 who have always played the Mandalorian. So yeah, he's the voice actor. He's the face actor for that one scene, and then he is on set sometimes, but not all the time. But yeah, there's these rumors that keep flying around that he's leaving the show, and I haven't seen any confirmation of that anywhere. I don't think that's true, and I feel like they're trying to push the show towards showing his face more often with this whole revelation about the Mandalorian like sects. So
Yeah.
I feel like eventually he's going to be taking his helmet off, and someday
I think he's locked in pretty good with the contract, so he's probably not going anywhere for a while. Maybe in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I feel like if he had to leave the show, they would end the show. But I hope that the last season is him going to every planet he's ever visited, visiting everyone and taking his mask off just to see what they do.
The last episode is he goes back to that world with the small town with the woman, like mother, and just kind of shows up and off, and he just like runs, and then he just gets to retire and like live happily ever after with her and Baby Yoda.
That is beautiful. Except he finds out she's already married, so he has to leave.
Oh no! Speaking of that planet, so I reposted the link on my Facebook, and I had a couple people chime in and talk about. It just goes to show that everybody loves macaron, the little cookies that Baby Yoda stole. And then they were talking about like, what flavor do you think it is? And I was like, it's probably that nasty blue little krill-looking like prawn thing, because that's what they make the spatchka out of, and it's that same shade. And we know that Baby Yoda loves like nasty frogs and eggs and seafood stuff. It's probably like weird seafood flavored cookies that he's munching on.
It's probably frog egg flavored, or like bantha milk or something.
Loves.
Yeah. But yeah, we were talking about that electrical scene in the beginning where Baby Yoda's like down the shaft and like he's like trying to get him to help.
He understands
the Jeffrey's tube.
Yeah, he like understands some, but not quite enough.
Right.
I loved that scene so much. Yeah, I love that scene. I love that they're thinking of new things to do with Baby Yoda, because I was a little disappointed about the first few episodes how Baby Yoda just felt like he was just there. But in this episode, he, was like part of trying to fix the ship, and then he's like eating those cookies, and then he's like on a roller coaster, and then he's throwing up on himself, and it's just it was so good. Like,
I like these little like father-son moments, like it's such a like father-son like helping the kid, like doing a house project together, fixing something in the garage or something, and then like cleaning up the spit up from the baby.
He
like
spit
it's
up
like
on
that
himself.
But I really like, because just that like juxtaposition between him being a total like badass assassin bounty hunter and then like mopping up throw up from Baby Yoda. Like I love it. I love his little dad.
Yeah.
Also, I love from the last episode, but because I had to run out so fast. But one of my favorite moments which I noticed on the second viewing, was just that scene after the squid thing eats Baby, where he flies into the mouth of in the previous episode, into the mouth of the squid. Once the Mandalorian rescue him and everything, that's like the most like shaken we've seen Din Djarin. Like he is like, his voice is trembling. He is like visibly like shaking, like his like son just almost died. Like that's like, I don't know. When I watched it the second time, I was just like, man, like he's so scared. He's so shaken, even for being like as tough as he is, seeing his little baby almost eaten.
Yeah, that happened in this episode too, when they watched that hollow footage of that doctor talking about needing the child. And he's like realizing that he's on the very planet where these people are based that have been looking for the child. So he's like, I gotta go. And he just like pieces out. I love that. You can really feel how much he's come to love this kid, just as much as we do, because look at him, he's adorable. But it's really great. Like, it's really good character building, especially for a lifeless puppet that they've just put so much character into. And like, none of us question anymore at all that Baby Yoda's alive. You never even would think like, oh, that's a animatronic or a puppet or whatever. You're just like, that is just Baby Yoda. And that's awesome. That's amazing. Like, that's what Star Wars did with Yoda back in the day, like the first movie. If you watch that critically, you're like, wow, this puppet doesn't look real or lifelike at all. But when you watch the movie, you just accept it. There's something about Yoda that just is so real. There's so much like heart and warmth that emanates from that character. So you just accept, okay, I guess his species mouth moves a little funny, There's
like one of the behind the scenes documentaries I've seen on Star Wars. They talk a lot about how much hinged on Yoda being accepted and believable, and that they're like it was such a risk, like putting a character, because if people are just like laughing at him like in a bad way, and just not buying it, like it's gonna be so stupid in this movie. In Empire Strikes Back, which is supposed to have like a more serious tone, and just
they were terrified.
Such a risk. That like could easily not work, and people just been like, what is this stupid puppet thing, like this is ridiculous, and like take you out of it if you don't buy character. And I feel like it's the same with Baby Yoda. Like it just works, and it could have gone so badly. Like it could have just been so cheesy and like silly, but it works so well.
Amanda says, I work for Walmart and I see Baby Yoda everywhere and I want to puke now. Well, then you should eat some blue cookies and throw them up on yourself, and
blue seafood cookies.
Although I think Amanda doesn't have Disney Plus. I don't think Amanda has seen the show, so I think that she doesn't know what we're talking.
Spoilers right now? Oh, no.
Well, hey, this is one way to experience the story. I know there's at least 2 people here that have not seen the show, and I appreciate you guys being here.
Guys,
if there will be a little bit of a backlash against Baby Yoda at some point, like he's kind of gotten so big. I mean, did I share this the other day? I mean, it's ridiculous. I have a Baby Yoda eyeshadow palette. It's fucking eyeshadow.
Yeah.
And I don't care. It's just like, my thing is, I'm like, it's 2020. Let me be happy.
Yeah. Find joy where you can.
Yeah.
But it is like, it does make me a little nervous, the fact that there is Baby Yoda eyeshadow, that like it's getting so saturated, and I know there's some, I don't know. Whatever.
I'm not worried about it. Like, Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980, I think. And like our shelves are still filled with Yoda merchandise. And now a Baby Yoda. So we're never going to get sick of it, Like there's always going to be someone out there who's going to want to buy Baby Yoda merch of some kind. And yes, I mean, we're already at oversaturation level. We're already there.
Point out.
A
cat in my lap.
Oh. I stand corrected. Amanda does have Disney Plus. She just doesn't watch Star Wars. That's great. If this is still entertaining, then I'm overjoyed. And then Joe asks, which version of Yoda do you like better, the original puppet or the prequel CGI version? Well, this is a really loaded question, because in episode
Parkour Yoda.
Parkour Yoda, yeah. In episode 1, when it came out in theaters, they had a puppet that looked ridiculous. It looked like Yoda was like 800 years younger. And they eventually like went back and re-CGI'd over that. And they've like updated some of Yoda's CGI since those movies came out. So it's hard to say like what is the CGI Yoda, because there's been several. Because George Lucas just could never stop tinkering. But long answer short, the puppet. I like the puppet better.
Puppet all the way. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the weirdest things for me in the prequels. It took me. It was CGI Yoda. It just didn't work for me.
I think he's fine. I like Yoda's fight in episode 2 actually quite a bit. I think that the way that they transitioned into Yoda spinning and jumping around was like pretty cool, and something that we've all always wanted to see. Like, what would Yoda with a lightsaber look like? So
as much as I had problems with, and I hated the prequels, and even though it was such in a way, like kind of a fan servicey, like giving Yoda the lights, I was here for it. I was happy. Yeah. That was one of the few moments in the prequels that I liked, like seeing Yoda jump around with the lightsaber. I was like, I wanted that. I wanted that.
Totally. Oh, Amanda says, I love conversation in general with you all. You're so sweet. Thank you.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah, and I did like that a lot, and I feel like it would have been harder to bridge that gap with a puppet Yoda in the prequels. Yeah. So
I don't know how you would do that with a puppet and make it, especially to hold up to the caliber, because the little lightsaber battles are cool in the prequels. They're better than in the original trilogy, like choreography and stuff. You couldn't have. Yeah. I don't think, especially at that time, there's no way I could see a puppet holding. It would have looked out of place with the rest of the battles. Yeah. But,
so I think they made the right choice. It's just like, the great thing about all this supplementary material, like Mandalorian, Clone Wars, Rebels, using stuff from the prequels, is that I now feel like some gratification for knowing the prequels, because I've seen them several times. I know the stories inside and out, but I don't like watching them that much because they make me angry. But now I feel like some gratification for having put in the work of learning them, you know, and like seeing them so many times. And now when I think back to like what happened in them, I think back to it fondly in a really weird way, because I don't think back to the things I hated that often. I think back to the things that were cool. So as long as I don't watch them, I actually like them much more than I used to.
I watched them again recently, and yeah, I like the Phantom Menace is still almost unbearable. Like, I can't sit down and just watch it all the way through. I have to be working on other stuff. But
yeah,
I wanted to watch. Well, I was going to ask you because I'm kind of trying to do a chronological thing. Like, I did watch most of the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. There are some things that I like, but not all of it. The Clone Wars. Are the Clone Wars the entire 7 seasons in between Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones? Or is season 7 after Revenge of the Sith? Like, if I were to be watching, should I finish all of Clone Wars and then go right into Revenge of the Sith to watch again?
What I'd recommend is watching all of Clone Wars except for the last 4 episodes, rewatch Revenge of the Sith, and then watch the last 4 episodes, so you have that like fresh in your mind, because they actually are concurrent. They take place at the exact same time, and there are moments that reference what's happening in episode 3, so you know where you are chronologically, and it's really cool. It's really cool. It's so good. The last 4 episodes of Clone Wars are insane. Like, I cried twice, and I felt silly because I'm like, I'm watching a cartoon, but it is good. It's like really emotionally gratifying. And Jane, I know you aren't watching the Clone Wars. I actually don't even really recommend watching the whole show because there's so much of it that's so boring. But absolutely watch the last 4 episodes, you know? Like,
okay.
I mean, I can give you like the 3-second synopsis of what you need to know.
If I don't watch a bunch of the stuff leading up to it, I feel like it won't have as heavy of an emotional impact, even though I've seen like the movies.
I could probably give you, and well, maybe Jesse can too, but I could probably give you, like, actually just go back and like write down a list of maybe choosing like 10 episodes that I watched between 2 and seasons 2, 3. Like, I think you can skip season 1 altogether. Honestly, there's nothing I even really remember from that, and it still had the same weight as to where I am now, but again, like, I kind of picked out episodes, anything having to do with Mandalore, Darth Maul. I really liked the episodes about the on Mortis, the father and the son and the daughter. I thought he was such a literal wizard that it drove me crazy.
He's like a wizard in a tall pointy hat. I'm like, are we doing that? That's weird.
Well, I thought it was, I don't know, because some of the background, or I don't know, again, I watched too many.
No, but you're right. It was interesting for sure. Those were definitely like standout episodes.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. And then, for sure. How like Maul and Ahsoka kind of become like the son and the daughter. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Like, unconscious literally goes into Ahsoka. Like, that's how she, now we're giving spoiler, but like, yeah, that represents something, like that now Ahsoka and Maul are kind of that balance.
So are they
the
like
father and the daughter?
Are they like Kylo Ren and Rey, where there's like sometimes a couple on the light side and the dark side, and just like
they're not a dyad, but they do interact. They do interact in a really interesting way. But the thing is like when you get down to the last 4 episodes, it's like it does work without having seen the whole show. Just having seen the prequels, it still is going to emotionally resonate really well. But it will amplify it for sure. Because for me, it's like I was sitting there watching it. And I'm like, man, I spent like dozens of hours watching every episode of this stupid show, and I saw every battle and every boring episode. And like. And there's just so many episodes that are just all battle, and it's boring because I want dialogue, I want lore, I want character development, and it's very light on that most of the time. But when that show does that, it does it really well. But then getting to that emotional payoff at the end, having sat through all of it, good, bad, and wonderful, it was like a unforgettable Star Wars experience for me. Like up there with like seeing Rogue One for the first time. And I shouldn't, I don't want to like oversell it because I hate when people do that. But I do think that what Jenny said is dead on. I think that watching a select handful of episodes is absolutely the way to go. I think you could do very minimally. Like, I mean, I would definitely watch that arc with Ahsoka at the end of season 5. Jenny, where are you at now?
I am on like episode 3 of season 5.
Okay. So the last arc of season 5, the first arc of season 6. And then the Mandalore stuff with Maul is interesting. I would actually, yeah. I think that that's probably worth watching just to see what happened with Maul before you get to season 7. But yeah, I mean, watch as much or as little as you enjoy, because if you're not enjoying it, I would skip to the next thing. But there's some really, like this, there's a 3 or 4 part episode about the clones. And Jenny, this will be a slight spoiler for you, but it's like stuff from the prequels. So like they do a little bit of a backstory about Order 66, and it's really good in the beginning of season 6. You know, because like we know that Sidious, aka Palpatine, engineered both sides of the war and is like leading both sides of the war, and he kind of tricked the Jedi into using a clone army that he had built a backdoor into to destroy the Jedi. But then you get to know these clones throughout the Clone Wars, and you're like, they would never do that, you know? But then they go into that, and it's really good. It's really good.
It's gonna be gut-wrenching.
Yeah. Joe, I was not a Supernatural fan. I've never seen it, but I heard it just ended and people are conflicted about the ending. Jane, do you watch that show?
I used to. I gave up, but I did just hear that it ended, and some people were crying about that as well. And I was like, oh, maybe someday I'll go back in and rewatch it. But that was what killed me, was that it was super formulaic. Yeah, there would be like a big bad and things would happen, but then they would just like recycle it with a new villain with the exact same thing, and then they would just like flip-flop, and like what happened to one brother in the previous season happened to the other brother in the next season, and they just kept doing that over and over and over again. And it was like nothing ever really changed. So
yeah
15 years is too long for most shows.
I've never seen it, but I definitely heard of it. It's like one of those,
it's got great moments.
One of those Canadian shows that has a lot of the same actors from stuff that I do watch. Joe asks, what is your opinion of the rumor that Mando's clan being the same group that started following Darth Maul? So you're talking about Death Watch.
The Death Watch.
Yeah, and it looks like Mando, when Din Djarin was rescued as a child, we're pretty sure that he was rescued by Death
Didn't
Watch.
They show it?
Yeah,
no, he definitely was.
Yeah, we saw the emblem of Death Watch.
You see their clan symbol. Yeah.
Yeah, and then as far as like Children of the Watch, him being like a child of the Watch, is that Death Watch? We still don't know yet, because we have seen Death Watch take off their helmets, but maybe something happened between, like we were theorizing earlier that like after the fall of Mandalore, maybe some clans changed to never take their helmets off.
Changed to them.
Yeah.
So they thought that like after things happened, the only way to restore their culture was to go back to the super old ways. Yeah. So they doubled down on it.
Joe just said something really interesting. You notice the armorer had horns on her helmet, which is a great point, because in Clone Wars, another slight spoiler for those who haven't gotten there yet, but there's some stuff with Mandalorians who put horns on their helmets to honor Maul. So maybe
the horns on her helmet look like Darth Maul's head. If you go back and you look at it. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's very cool. I can't wait to get more of that lore. It's so good. Yeah. I love when there's just like tantalizing bits of lore inside of an action-packed, fun space adventure. You know, it's perfect. It's just what I want. Like this episode is just what I want from the show.
So good.
So speaking of just a little bit of lore, did anyone else catch the IG-11 statue in the town when they were walking through Navarro?
No.
What?
So it's just like half a second, but when they're walking through and they're like, look at all these improvements that we made, and they're like, I think it's when they're on their way into the school, there's a little like courtyard thing that they're walking past, and you only see it, and it's kind of slightly skewed. This is one of those moments where you can tell that the dome is not quite right in the perspective that they're showing it from. But there's an IG-11 droid statue, like a fountain,
No way.
statue in a courtyard.
Ugh.
And it's like, oh, they're honoring what he did to save the people that saved the town. Yay.
I gotta see that.
I have to go back and watch that. I did not.
I love him so much.
That's awesome. Because IG-11.
Yeah.
Half a sec.
I'm still so bummed that they killed IG-11 and Queel. I have a question.
Yeah.
I feel that we are building to a end of the season team up like we did in season 1, where we're gonna have the Marshal from episode 1. Maybe
I feel like we'll see the Marshal again.
Yeah, and maybe like Ahsoka Tano. And then who else have we met? We've met Frog Lady.
There's not a whole lot of new characters yet. They're doing a lot of like re-cameos.
Like Grief and Cara. Yeah, I just feel like all the new characters we meet are all going to team up with Mando at the end of the season to help protect the child, which is exactly what happened in season 1. So my question is, what level of formulaic repetitiveness is too much? Like, if they follow the same season arc every time, is that going to drive us crazy? Or is it going to be awesome? Like, I would love to see the Marshal come back. I love that character. If Mando's just collecting characters throughout the universe, and then the last season or last episode of the season, they're probably going to kill some of them off, like they did with Queel and IG-11. So if they do that,
I am sad that they killed those characters off, but at the same time, it gives it there's real stakes.
Yeah.
Like, when no one ever dies in a series, it's like, it's too safe. No one's ever going to get killed off. And this way, you know that there is actual peril and it feels more intense.
Totally. Joe reminded me what I was forgetting, which is the Boba Fett cameo in episode 1.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. I was like, I will forget, like, Boba Fett.
Adam says Frog Lady's Spawn are going to come and fight.
They're friends now.
Yeah.
Or maybe like Frog Lady and all of their little tadpoles like come back.
The Spawn.
Yeah. Here's what I want from next week's episode. I want Ahsoka and Mando to meet, talk about the Jedi, talk about the Force, but then get attacked by these Imperials who are chasing them through the tracker, and then get saved by Boba Fett because he wants the armor back. That's what I want. And then Boba Fett saves them so he can fight them for the armor.
I am really excited though about all these. Like, I feel like there's several different, like, we've got the clones, the human experimentation, whatever, Moff Gideon, we've got whatever's going to be happening with Boba Fett, and then we've got Ahsoka Tano and finding the child. I'm very excited for how these things
eventually they're all going to curve back around and
it's all going to come together. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So Ryan just chimed in and said the X-Wing pilots. So the guy, the Mr. Kim guy, that Cara Dune called Blue, which is like Blue Squadron, right? So like he's probably gonna keep showing up too as like the neighborhood cop, that keeps getting pulled into all these shenanigans.
Yeah, because he's trying to track whatever's going on the Outer Rim, which I think is probably the formation of the New Order, forming around keeping Palpatine alive.
I think it is.
Yeah. Which all kind of connects with like them tracking Baby Yoda and the blood and all that. So all these stories could absolutely come together and be into like some epic, confrontation at the end of the season.
I'm so excited. I'm really excited for where it's going to go. And also, I was trying to think, I feel like there's still a little loose, like, I'm still wondering if, and because I'm kind of obsessed with her, but if Ming-Na Wen's character is going to come, I feel like she's
bring her back.
I love her so much.
Like, I don't know if she'll have like a major role, but I think there's going to be it might be like a side quest episode, but I think her and Boba Fett are gonna. I'm sure she's coming back.
I would love that.
She's 100%. There's no way they would have ended her, with her.
We didn't see her die. She's coming back.
Yeah. So I'm super excited for that too, but I don't know if she'll be part of the main story or be like a side episode. I don't know.
Did we? We saw her die because the new bounty hunter guy shot her, but I don't think she's actually dead.
No, because then when Mando comes back, the body's gone. Like, so you see, like, you see,
and like someone walked up to her. It was probably Boba Fett or the Marshal because it was Spurs. So it's probably the Marshal.
Someone took her and saved and rescued her.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Is there anyone else that we're like waiting for, or a loose end from last season that I can't really remember? I was trying to think if there's any other characters or loose ends.
I don't think there's characters that were dangling from this episode, but the code cylinders, they finally like said what has been part of the little like greeblies on everybody's uniforms. They're like this little thing that looks like a weird pen is actually a key that opens up doors in the Imperial bases.
That's what that thing in his pocket.
Like cylinder is what it's called.
I always thought they were like blaster charges or something. But you're right. The code cylinder. You know, he said that in this episode. I didn't put it together that that's where it came from. Was like one of those little stitched in.
And you see it on like everybody's uniforms. All the higher officers. Like
well, and like Han Solo has some stuff like that on his jacket in the Force Awakens.
Huh.
Yeah.
But you're right. Imperial officers have them too. Maybe they're two different things.
Well, maybe it's the same technology that they're used for different. Like maybe the Millennium Falcon has a couple of doors that need the code cylinders. Who knows?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you were like, you know, he said something like "slice this door," so they wanted him to hack into it. Yeah. So if you're a smuggler, you definitely need some code cylinders.
For sure. It's like some skeleton keys.
My only complaint about this episode is the way that Greef treated Mythrol. I was a little uncomfortable, but I have a theory. I think that Mythrol is in love with Greef, and the next time we see them, they're going to be a couple. Jane's like, I don't know about that.
Because like treating him like property, like a slave. Like, it was not okay.
Yeah, I didn't like that. But then, like, the way Mythrol was reacting to it, like, he was still kind of cheering when Mando showed up at the end. He was still, like, seemed to, like, obviously be on our side or be on Greef's side. But then Greef was, like, really treating him like property, and I really didn't like that. Yeah. So, I feel like they were kind of going for, like, a comedic buddy thing. But maybe it's a will they, won't they romance.
I have mixed feelings about that character. Like, I mean, he's kind of funny, but he tends to kind of take me out of it a little bit for some reason.
I 100% agree.
In the previous episode, like he's very like a Jon Favreau character. Like he just kind of like I remember that from the first episode. Like it was just so weird. I mean, Amy Sedaris' character does that a little for me too. Even though I like her and I think she's funny, like I don't want her a ton. Like I like her as like a side character, and he's kind of the same way. Like he's just funny.
The peppering of it.
About his being such a different species, like when he comes in and when he goes pew, and like that smoke like comes on, like I loved that. I just think his funny alien quirks, like when he's talking about like evacuating his whatever and that kind
like
of stuff,
moisture sacks or something.
Yeah. Is like that. Is he played by Horatio Sands?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't remember.
Jenny, it's funny that you call him like a Jon Favreau type person, because when the first episode came out, the first thing B said to me was like, yeah, it's got this like Jon Favreau guy in it that I don't really like. Like she calls...
I might have heard it from her.
Yeah, that's what she calls like anyone who acts like that, who acts like a dude bro, she calls the Jon Favreau guy. And yeah, Mythrol is totally that, and it totally takes me out every time. I'm okay with it. It's like...
Yeah, I'm not mad at
it's
it.
not.
It doesn't bother me.
It's not like Jar Jar Binks bad, but it's on that scale. Like it's going towards that, but it's not that.
It's tipping that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm okay with him, but I don't really want to see him every episode.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with him being used sparingly. It's kind of funny. He does have like some funny one-liners and some humor, but it's a little weird. It takes me out of it a little bit.
Yeah, like
not a huge complaint.
Of all the characters we could bring back from season 1, he was not on my list of people I wanted to see again.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe asked, have we spotted any of the hidden celebrity cameos this season yet? I have not. Tell us what they are. Sorry, Jane, what were you saying?
I was going to say, speaking of people that came back, Cara Dune, I'm so excited that we got a little bit of her backstory.
Oh.
She's from Alderaan.
And she lost everyone. Oh, that was so touching.
Which kind of explains why she became a shock trooper. She was just like, she lost everything. So she just threw herself into the war. Just like, I have nothing to lose. I'm going to do it all.
I kind of thought that was almost like, I mean, not seriously, but it almost seemed like an asshole question. Did you lose anyone? No shit. No, everyone I knew and my whole family happened to be off the planet. Like, of course I lost somebody.
Yeah.
Like, why would you even ask that? The whole planet exploded. Yes, of course I lost somebody.
Yeah.
No, but I did like that. But I thought hadn't it mentioned before that she was from Alderaan?
Maybe. I was trying to remember. I'm not sure.
I don't remember if they said where she was from before. They've talked about her past a bit.
I thought she might have mentioned it when she met Mando, when she was talking to him on the planet, and when she was like telling, oh yeah, I was like after Alderaan, I did it, but she might not have mentioned she was from there. I couldn't remember. I thought
I'd have to rewatch that. I don't remember for sure, but either way, like hearing her talk about it was really powerful.
No, I did. I love
Joe.
that.
Oh yeah, Joe. Yeah, John Leguizamo. I think we did talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good question, Relly. What did the Rebel Flyer give her? I think that's a pad for a hologram. Like, you know when they like hold something out. Oh, where's my hand? Like hold something in their hand, like a hologram comes off of it. I think it was like a Rebel Alliance thing that I think was a communication
kind of, they could get in touch.
Yeah,
I thought it was like a badge or like a symbol, like a.
Yeah, I think it was a communicator for a holo communication, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
It was kind of. I feel like it was a business card. He's like, if you need to get in touch with me, like, use this.
I love that symbol. I love that she has it tattooed on her cheek. I was also thinking about how it looks like a spaceship. Like, one day I want them to make like a New Republic cruiser that looks like that symbol. That,
in
like,
the shape of the symbol.
When you look at it straight on, you can't tell, but then when it flies up, you're like, oh my god, it's the Rebel Alliance symbol. That would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, the TIE fighters kind of have like when you look at them from the edge, they sort of almost look like the Empire symbol.
Yeah.
Not really, but
oh man,
kind of the same silhouette.
That's another thing that I love. I just love any scene in this show with TIE fighters or X-Wings, when those TIE fighters, just them like kind of not collapsing, but like however they take off or whatnot when they go chase them. I just love them. So beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's been relatively recent that we started seeing them take off where the wings fold, like they go like that, which is really cool. It's like one of those things that no one ever thought of until now. It's like, oh, obviously that's how you get in and out of it. It would fold down. Yeah. I think before we've always seen like a giant ladder to get up into it, but I love this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes more sense. Because like, what if you land on a planet where there's not a crew waiting for you? You gotta be able to easily get in and out of your ship.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna do? Just jump? Yeah, use the force.
Yeah, that's
levitate.
a weird way to land, like, because normally ship has landing gear like on the bottom. Just you don't just like. I mean, like here is a TIE fighter. Like you couldn't just like what it just sits on.
Yeah.
No, like that makes no sense.
Maybe like a giant inflatable slide comes out of the bottom, like on an airplane. You just imagine like a TIE fighter pilot, just like arms crossed, just like floating down a slide. I gotta say, the whole sequence where they like broke into the Imperial base and like crawled around on the outside of the thing to sabotage it, besides Grief kind of treating Mithral like he was expendable, which I didn't like. That whole sequence was fantastic, and their escape. I mean, my favorite shot of the whole episode was when the speeder bikes go after them and they go down the hill. I was like, holy shit! I like whooped or something. It was really cool.
Another moment where I felt like I was there, like I could almost feel like that feeling when you're on a roller coaster, when you're just your stomach kind of like, or your heart like drops. Mm-hmm. Like I could feel that when they were going down the hill.
In it.
Oh, I remember that scene from the trailer, and I'd been waiting for that one. Such a cool shot.
So this is it for all the stuff we've seen in the trailer now. There's nothing else.
Oh.
I still haven't seen it.
Like we've caught up. You can watch it now because there's no other spoilers from the trailer. We don't know what's going to happen now, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, maybe I'll give it a watch. I've been avoiding it. Like it keeps popping up on YouTube. I mean, I care less now, but before the show came out, it kept popping up on YouTube as the like recommended ad or whatever, and I kept like closing my eyes and humming so I wouldn't see what was coming. Oh yeah, Joe, my favorite was when Mando showed up at the last second with the ship. Yeah, that was so exciting, and then da 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 da. It's so good every time. I'll never get sick of that music. Yeah, but or my other favorite shot is Baby Yoda, like going like whoa, like he's on a roller coaster. That was
I feel like they were
amazing.
making a lot of like meme moments in this episode, like Baby Yoda, like, memeable moments with like the wires and with the hands up, and where he's just like my cookies.
Yeah,
yeah.
I love using the Force to steal cookies. That's great.
Oh, one other thing. So I didn't get a chance to read it because I was literally looking at it before we started. But I have the article pulled up that apparently when they drop Baby Yoda off at the classroom and the protocol droid is teaching, she is apparently explaining a inconsistency in the whole like Kessel Run thing, and
different trade routes, yeah.
But there was, and I have to read the article because I don't remember anything from Solo, the movie. It's like of all the Star Wars things, that was probably my least favorite. I saw it once. I don't really remember anything of it. I didn't like it. But apparently there was some like inconsistency with something to do with like electrical storms in the Kessel Run, and apparently the protocol droid in the background, like if you listen to her, whatever she's saying is actually filling in the holes and explaining away that inconsistency.
Oh, I love it.
So it's talking
That's
about
awesome.
And trade routes or something. So I gotta go back and like listen to that and read that a little bit.
As Doug likes to say, if it happened, it's canon, and you can't disregard it. It happened. What's up, JVB? Yeah. Good to see you. Yeah, I was actually wondering what that droid was teaching. I wanted to like pay closer attention, but then the second time I watched it, I was still so distracted by Baby Yoda being adorable.
I mean, I was listening to some of it because I had the captions on too, so I could read the captions, and I knew she was talking about, and she mentioned the name of the planet where the New Republic is based, which I meant to look up. It started with a C, but it's not Coruscant. It's Coruscant. I'll have to look that up too, but I was going to Google that and see if we've seen that planet before.
Which planet?
She mentioned so the teacher says the planet. No, she says something about the planet. I want to say like Corias or it wasn't Corellia. It started with a C, but she says where the New Republic is currently based. Like it was saying where the New Republic is now.
Oh yeah, that's the planet probably. That's probably the planet we see destroyed in Force Awakens.
Because I would have recognized.
Adam says Chandrilla. Does that sound familiar?
Yes. I think that's it. Yeah. Maybe we already knew that, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I meant to look if we'd heard of that planet before or if that was important. But
that's something that
I heard her mention it.
That's something that drove me crazy about Force Awakens. It's like we've always wanted to see what the New Republic would look like, and they destroyed it the first time we saw it. And I'm like, can we at least see it first so we know what we're losing? Yeah. You know?
So we have a moment.
Yeah. But I love that. Reminds me of Grief Karga's line. It's like, flight manifest. We're not on Coruscant.
Yeah.
Trying to like play off the fact that Mando had been there.
Right.
Yeah. I love this episode start to finish. I love that there was some moments where the stormtroopers said lines directly from other Star Wars movies, like the old movies. Like something like, look over there, or something like that, but it sounded exactly the same. I love that they used the same sound effects to turn off the power control thing over the lava that they used for Obi-Wan when he was turning off the shield generators, or no, the tractor beam. Sorry, the tractor beam in episode 4. Just so many like wonderful little touches and details that just make the world feel so like fully realized.
I do that a lot. And really well in Clone Wars, I've noticed the little like subtle line references that they're not like even like hitting you on the head with it. They're really subtle and they fit right into the thing, but you just still do a little like when you catch them, like
yeah.
I love it.
At one point, Anakin Skywalker says, "Impressive, most impressive." I wanted more of that.
Yeah, that was. That was one of them. And there's quite a few of like really subtle, like you could almost miss them, and they're not over the head with it, but I like it.
Yeah, Vader has such a particular cadence of speech that Anakin Skywalker does not share. But there was a couple moments in the Clone Wars where they tried to do that, try to make Anakin talk like Vader would in the future, and it was really effective. I wish that they'd done more of that with Hayden Christensen. Although, I gotta say, like, when I think of Anakin Skywalker now, I think of cartoon Anakin, because he's like a man, versus Anakin Skywalker in the movies as Hayden Christensen feels more like a teenager to me, even in the third movie. Whereas, like, I prefer to think of Anakin as like the grown man he was in the Clone Wars. I just find that character to be more interesting, and then losing that character to the dark side is heartbreaking in a way that Hayden Christensen turning never was.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm actually excited to watch. I almost feel like it'll be like watching Revenge of the Sith through a little bit different lens now, having watched all this and actually caring more and like getting all this backstory on Anakin, because it was just wasn't there.
For that.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, how are you doing? I've been thinking about you all day. I hope you're doing all right. Yeah.
I mean, he's still creepy around Padme, in my opinion. That's the only time I still hate him in the Clone Wars show, is so obnoxious around. Like, I was watching some scene where she was, we were talking about this off camp before we were recording last week, but where she's like doing some like important like diplomatic whatever thing for her job. She's like a freaking senator, and he's sitting there whining like, "Oh, is your work's more important than me? What, you don't love me enough?" And I'm just like,
she has important things to do.
Yeah, dude, she's like
fucking galactic senator. Piss off.
Yeah. Oh, it was so obnoxious. I'm so mad, but I'm like, it's okay. He is the villain.
Yeah. I also watched an episode of Rebels today where Satine said she hates sand because it gets everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I remember that line, too.
Yeah. Well, shall we rate this episode? I feel like we've talked about most of it and a lot of other stuff that was unrelated.
Yeah, I know.
Before we rate it, Rain just chimed in again. So there is a new VR experience for anyone who has access to an Oculus Quest. If you haven't tried yet, Galaxy's Edge. It's supposed to be pretty cool. I haven't tried it yet, but I can try to do it this week and chime in and see what the experience is like. But apparently, you fight some of the I don't know if I'm saying it right, the Guavian Death Gang, which is the guys that showed up and were like hassling Han Solo on the Falcon when they were getting it back, and then those big crazy aliens came up and ate them all. So you fight some of those guys.
Yeah. That reminds me, I want to see more of Conja Club.
Conja Club, that was
yeah.
Cool.
Oh man, Sean. So I don't know, Sean. I don't know if I should share. Let me know if you're comfortable with that. But we're all thinking about you, and Sean is having a real bad day, guys. So everyone send some positive vibes towards Sean.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah.
Hope it gets better for you, man.
If you want to talk about it, we can, and if you don't feel like it, we don't have to. But yeah, if you want to just come and chill and try to have a fun Star Wars-y time, just let us know. Yeah. So anyway, so for rating this episode, I feel like I would give it like an 8.5. It's very, very, very good. I love it. Maybe a 9. 8.5. The only thing I don't like is Mithril. I didn't need that character back, but then on top of that, having him be like treated like property would just really rub me the wrong way. I loved everything else about this episode, so I'm just trying to decide like how many points does that take us down? 8.5. Quite the Snapper says 8.5 is right in the money. That's kind of what my heart is telling me. I feel like I loved everything else 10 out of 10. I'd have to love everything else like 15 out of 10 for how much it bothered me to not be at an 8.5, if that made sense. Like how much the Mithril thing kind of threw me off. I don't like when life is disrespected, you know? Even if it's like the bad, I don't like when the good guys disrespect the life and the freedom of other good guys, you know?
Yeah,
it feels wrong.
He's not like when the villains do it, it's kind of like, yes, because the villains do it, so therefore we're making it so this is wrong. But when it's somebody you consider one of the good guys when the hero's treating someone else that way.
Yeah.
Like, think about Queel. He was like, I bought my freedom back from the Empire. Yeah. It was like, that was really moving, and it made you realize how evil the Empire was being for like owning people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you two? What would you rate it?
Although, just real quick, we might get that. Maybe that will come full circle or something. Like, I could see them coming back to that, like the way he treats him so shitty, and then having like him like save his life or something, or him kind of realizing that, I don't know, that he was treating him wrong.
He just keeps on lowering his debt until they end up married. I'm telling you.
Oh, it's some weird Stockholm situation. The episode was pretty good. I think I did love the first episode much more, and the property thing really bothered me. I'd say like an 8.
An 8?
It's like it was good, but it wasn't my favorite. But it was great.
What about you, Jenny?
Like an 8.
Yeah, I would also, because I was going back and forth between 8 and a 9, so I'm gonna also say 8.5 because
perfect.
I'm gonna save the 10s for, like, 10 is how I felt last week. Like, not just like this one was really good, but it didn't make my heart sing the way that last week's did. Like, just that moment of like Bo-Katan. Like, last week's was flawless to me. I mean, like I said, I was like literally on the edge of my seat. It was, so I want to save 10s for that level of just above and beyond. And compared to the feeling I had last week, not quite there, but it's like stellar episode. I mean, the bar is so high that it's like, I'd say 8.5 is
awesome.
Well,
I wanted to get through the rating before we talked about this, but Sean has given us permission, so I do want to talk about this. Sean's mother passed away from COVID-19 this morning. I believe it was this morning. I saw it on Facebook earlier today. I've been thinking about you, Sean, all day. Andy and I talked about it earlier today. We're both devastated for you. And then Sean says that it's okay to talk about it because maybe it will get someone to wear a mask. And I mean, every time I go outside right now, I'm wearing a mask. Even if I'm just walking my dog around the block, I'm wearing a mask because I used to not wear a mask when I was walking my dog. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm just out on my street and that feels safe to me. But several times people who weren't wearing masks, like, went like jogging past me or like came up into my space without me knowing they were coming. They came from behind or something.
You never know.
You just never know. So I've changed my behavior. I'm now like, no matter what I'm doing, when I walk out the front door, I put a mask on before I go outside. It's the number one thing you can do to protect yourself and to protect others. Yeah, absolutely. So it's so important. I know it's super frustrating, but we all have to be masking up all the time and limit your social gatherings. Don't hang out with people inside. Follow all the rules. Don't go eat out, order takeout if you need to have a fancy meal. But this is
for anyone who's thinking about Thanksgiving, look, do your friends and your family a favor. If you absolutely have to be with them right now in person, think about how you can do it safely, how you can maybe eat in separate rooms or something. It's not worth the possibility that your mom might die. The easiest thing that you can do right now is socially distance yourself, wear a mask, don't eat in the same room as several other people that you don't live with. If you're not in the same household normally, don't travel right now. I know it's the exact opposite from what most people want right now, especially since how this year has been so hard. But if there's even like a chance that you could get your family sick, it's not worth it.
Well, we're so, I mean, the one silver lining of this is like the fact that, I mean, it sucks, but that it's happening in 2020. Like, there are so many, like right now we're all hanging out on our screens. Like, there's so many ways to social remotely. Like, I don't honestly
hang out like this.
I have had more social interaction since like COVID than I used to in general, like, because I, through like this, like, and things like this, like, it's really, I don't want to dismiss, I know, like, loneliness, struggling with depression and loneliness and isolation is tough, so I don't want to like discredit those feelings, but there are a lot of ways to stay connected remotely nowadays, and
there are alternate options.
And there, I love doing this. I'm so glad that we have this. It's not the same as being with other friends in the same room and talking. It's not the same as hugging your loved ones. And it's really hard to live without those things. But there are vaccines on the horizon. This is temporary. We will get through this. But until then, we all have to wear masks. I also want to say, Quite the Snapper just said he lost his uncle to this at the very beginning. We have 2 people in chat who have lost family members to this disease. And I know that Ghost Boo also had COVID. I mean, this thing is the real deal, like this disease is very contagious and it's deadly. So
no, I mean, I'm glad. I mean, as hard as it is to tell us, I mean, it does help others, because I think one of the problems, like, I don't want to name specifics, but there are some people down, like, since I've moved down to Orange County, it's a little more mixed, like conservative. And I mean, I know a lot of people that are literally like anti-maskers, aren't social distancing. And part of the thing is like, and there are people very close to me, like related to me. And it's tough because they will say, well, I've had a lot of friends that have gotten it. They've all recovered. They're all fine. And it's like, I can see how that make it easy, because the people in your immediate circle, and if you're lucky enough that you didn't directly lose someone, it can give you a false sense of confidence. And then on top of that, when you're listening to alternative facts and, telling you that it's not, then reinforcing that, what you want to hear, that it's not a big deal. And it's like, oh, well, I know they say like the news is telling me people are dying from them, but I don't know anybody personally. Like, so
it's happening though. 250,000 people is nothing to joke about.
This disease should never have been politicized. It is criminal that happened, but it's never too late to adjust behavior. And the evidence is there. People are dying, and yes, most people who get this disease recover, but that doesn't mean that the death rate is acceptable, because it's not. Because there's so many people getting the disease because it is so contagious. Like we've have over 250,000 people have died in this country. That's insane. It's an insane amount of people. And I heard Bill Nye say at the beginning of the pandemic that all of us will either know someone who died or know someone who knows someone who died. And that's happening. Absolutely, that's happening. And it's terrifying, and we have to keep our guard up.
Even if you survive it, I mean, there's still so many unknowns. Like, people are potentially ending up with lifelong ailments. Like, this thing's it's not a flu where you just recover and you're fine. Like, it's causing pre-existing conditions, and then like
for the rest of your life. You might not be able to breathe, or you might be at higher risk of a stroke, or you might not be able to move as well as you used to before. It's serious.
And I heard someone say early on that when you think of earlier generations going to war and the sacrifice that is required to leave your family and fly across the ocean to fight someone else in another country and kill them if need be. And we're being asked to stay home, like this. We are fighting a war against COVID, and we are being asked to stay home. And I have gone out of my way to make that enjoyable for myself and find ways to connect with people like this that we're doing right now. This is fantastic. And it's not, there's 3 of us on screen, but there's also all the people in the chat that are hanging out. It just feels like we're all, having a Star Wars club, and I look forward to this every week. And as much as I'd love to be able to invite everyone over to my place to do this, we just can't right now. So there are alternatives, and this is temporary. And also, I mean, like this disease is so contagious that even if you're doing everything right, you can still get it. You know, accidents can still happen. And like masks are not perfect protection, but they are so much better than not wearing a mask. So I want everyone to just have compassion for each other and care about each other and protect each other, do everything that we can to protect each other, and then support each other, especially in situations like this. And yeah, Sean, we're absolutely all here for you. Sean says, thanks to everyone. Keep my family in your thoughts and prayers, please. Yeah, we absolutely will. And, you know, all of my content.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah. Thank you for a lot, you know, being comfortable with us having this discussion. And all of my content is really designed to try to, you know, be fun and give someone something fun to do during the day, you know, like whether it's playing Mario or talking about Star Wars, I want to provide escapism and community. And I'm absolutely going to keep doing that. And I really appreciate you all being here. And I want this to be an inclusive community, and everyone who wants to be a part of it can. But we all got to wear our masks, you know, like let's stop politicizing this virus. It's
so
real.
Easy.
Yeah.
There's no reason to not do it. It's
absolutely.
So easy.
Wow. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, Relia. And thank you guys so much for being here. I feel like I don't have... Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Jane.
Before we go, I've had this candle lit for the entire time that we've been talking. Last week, Jenny talked about her Etsy store, and I just wanted to give a shout out because I did actually buy some of the stuff, and I love it so much. So I'm going to turn off my light so you can see it.
You're so sweet.
I got this.
Oh, that's so cool.
This full moon little votive candle lighter, and when you light up the candle inside, it glows.
Whoa.
So awesome. I love it so much. So if you guys are thinking about it, or you just want like cool Christmas gifts that you can send to people without having to go into a store, go to the Etsy shop because I love it so much. Also, okay, this planner, look at the detail on this planner. Oh my god, it's so beautiful.
This is like a commercial.
And really, I know, but okay, I just wanted to show off the goods because like she didn't have much time last week, and I was like, all right, that sounds kind of cool, whatever, I'll go check it out. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh my god. So anyway, yeah, if you need a little pick me up and you like, or you don't like candles, I don't know, maybe this will be your gateway. But these things are fucking cool.
Yeah.
All right. It's my piece.
Jenny, remind us where we find your stuff.
It's Jenny Marie, but Jenny spelled with an I-E, Jennie Marie Studio at Etsy, and that's my Instagram as well. Instagram, I have a bunch of pictures of all my past commissions and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do a lot of nerdy stuff. Like I'm working on a lot of Marvel themed things, but yeah, a lot of mostly celestial galaxy nerdy stuff. So
yeah,
thank you.
In the spirit of self-promotion, I also want to say that I do have a new gaming channel. So if anyone is wondering why I haven't streamed Mario Maker recently, it's over on my new gaming channel. Just search for Jesse Mercury Gaming and you'll find it. I will hopefully be streaming some Mario Maker this week because I haven't streamed it in a bit and I'm craving it. And I just remembered there was a question at the very beginning of the stream that I forgot to address. Let me see if I can find it. Probably not, but I kind of remember it. I don't remember who asked it, but someone was asking what we're most excited about of the upcoming Disney Plus shows between Winter Soldier,
WandaVision's gonna be cool.
And there was Loki, I think is the other one they asked. Oh, here it is. I found it. It was Joe.
When is Loki?
What other shows are you looking forward to? Loki, Falcon, Winter Soldier, or WandaVision? Well, I'm really looking forward to Miss Marvel because they're doing that, aren't they?
Oh, I think
are they doing it soon though? I think it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, Miss Marvel I think is a little further back, but yeah, those three that are on the horizon, I think I'm most excited for WandaVision because it just looks so batshit crazy.
It looks cool.
Mean, it's gonna be so kooky.
I love Paul Bettany.
And oh my god, the fact that they show them for some reason in their like the comic book accurate costumes, like the ridiculous Scarlet Witch with her red outfit.
Yeah.
It's just I can hardly make sense of it, so I'm so excited. But I'm excited for all three of those. Loki we haven't seen very much of, but Loki, oh god, what was Loki they were thinking might tie into something else that now I'm blanking, like something that connected in in Agents of
Thor
S.H.I.E.L.D.
stuff? Oh.
No, it was Time Police or something. Damn it, I can't remember, but something to do with time travel, I thought. I don't know, but I also am really excited because Winter Soldier is maybe one of my top three Marvel movies, so I'm really excited for Falcon and Soldier as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch all of it. I'm stoked about all of it. I think it's amazing that this is all happening. It's so exciting. Yeah. Joe says I think Miss Marvel is going to be a character in WandaVision because I know she's been cast. So that would be really exciting. I've read quite a few of the Miss Marvel books and they're awesome. Oh yeah, She-Hulk too. God. Yeah, She-Hulk.
Oh, She-Hulk. Although I was really bummed, like I was so excited. Well, I didn't know she was at first. So when they first announced that it was going to be Tatiana Maslany, I don't know if I'm right, from Orphan Black, I literally went and started watching Orphan Black just because I wanted to see this actress that's going to play. And I got so attached to her, and I was like, I think she'd be a great She-Hulk. And apparently that news was inaccurate, and she has said that she's not She-Hulk.
It seems like it might still be happening, and they just hadn't announced it yet, so she wasn't allowed to comment.
She had to not say anything.
Throw them off, because I think she'd be so perfect.
We'll see. I hope so.
But also in WandaVision, apparently we see from Captain Marvel, her best friend, Carol Danvers' best friend's daughter. I'm blanking on her name right now.
Lieutenant Trouble.
Yeah,
what's her name?
I know, it's driving me. Monica Rambeau. I can't remember if the mom is Monica or the daughter.
That's the friend, though. I think the mom is Monica.
But she has a scene like where she's apparently like time traveling or something, but she's gonna appear in WandaVision too. So yeah, I'm just so excited for WandaVision.
I still haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home. I really want to see it.
You have to see that.
Yeah, I just don't want to pay for it. I want it to come out on Disney Plus. But because Sony owns it, it hasn't.
It's Sony.
Bye, Quiet the Snapper. Good to see you.
I don't think either of because Homecoming's not on Disney Plus either. I don't think Disney Plus gets unless they work out some other kind of deal.
Yeah, because it's Sony.
Sony and them are fighting too much.
Yeah. Sean asks when I'm going to play the new Zelda game. I downloaded the demo. I want to try it. I've been holding off on playing it to try to stream it, so hopefully soon. Oh, Adam G just ordered a moon votive with rose gold. It looks great. Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, you're not going to be upset. It is so cool in person. The camera right now is not even giving it any sort of justice. It lights up.
Those are cool. Do you make them with like an E.T. and Elliot flying across the moon?
Oh my god! Yes, I'm gonna make an
That'd be cool.
I have not thought of that yet. Oh my god!
I want that. That sounds great. Oh, you could do that with like the Death Star, and it could like explode on one side.
Oh, an exploding Death Star would be so cool.
Oh, I did a couple with. I did do a Death Star one. I did. If you look on my Instagram, I did one of the Death Star floating over Endor. So I did Endor's forest.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
But I haven't done an exploding Death Star yet.
Adam says, I will pay for you to make a custom one for Jesse.
I will.
That'd be so cool.
I love it.
Custom. Give me all the nerdy custom ones. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you. Wait, did you say it was Adam?
Adam G, yeah. And
Thank you, Adam.
Sean says, okay, I got to go. Tomorrow's going to be a hard day. Night all, thanks for the love. Yeah, Sean, we'll be thinking about you. I was so devastated to see that Facebook post this morning. I hope you're doing okay and that your family's doing okay, and we'll definitely be thinking about you.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many families out there going through this right now. It's horrible, but we'll get through it, you know. We'll get through it, and this will be a thing that we all endured. We'll look back on this years later and talk about that year and a half or 2 years or however long it's going to be where we were wearing masks all over the place and telling, you know, our grandchildren how crazy it all was. Oh my goodness, Adam G just donated $25 in case you want a Death Star /ET candle. Oh my goodness.
That's awesome. Everybody should get one.
We got a Stormtrooper dance party. It's so appropriate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh yeah, Joe, they don't have the Spider-Man movies because they are co-financed by Sony. And Sony has like weird rules.
Sony has rights.
Yes. Adam, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I totally want this custom candle.
That I just
oh my god, what is this?
Is that a scarf?
Pajama pants. With
nice.
Nice.
Stormtroopers with Santa Claus hats on. Which is awesome.
That's great.
Nice. That's awesome. That reminds me, I've been messing around with TikTok recently, and I've been like doing a lot of Star Trek stuff where I Photoshop myself into Star Trek. I put some of it up here on YouTube on this channel, but I made one where I beamed myself into the Mandalorian. And if anyone wants to see that, there's a link to TikTok in the description.
Nice.
I want to make one for every episode of the season. For episode 2, I want to make one where I'm like searching for Mando in the ice cave, and then I come upon him collecting eggs and Frog Lady in the hot tub, and I'm gonna be like, I gotta get out of this universe. I'm excited.
Yeah. Awkward moment.
Yes. Jane, do you have anything to plug? Jenny and I have already plugged it all.
I don't. I'm not really doing anything right now other than just working from home a lot and trying to catch up on books and stuff. So I have zero to plug right now. I have a cat here. I have a cat to plug.
Yay! It's Stormy.
This is my.
She's so pretty.
That Jane, when you're looking straight at the camera and you can't see your ponytail, you got like Princess Leia buns going on. Like
yeah,
with the headphones.
Yeah. Doing my part. Oh, okay. So speaking of hairstyles, when they were in the school, did anyone else see the little girl that had the Rey 3?
I did see that
on the back of her head.
I did see that. I was like, is that young Rey? That doesn't make sense.
I know. I was like, the math doesn't check out. That can't be Rey. But the hairstyle's a thing. So
yeah. Someday there will be a live action show that centers around a Jedi, and I cannot wait for that day. I hope that it's Ahsoka, but maybe it's like, New Republic, Young Jedi, and maybe Rey shows up. It's just like anything's possible on Disney Plus. I'm so excited.
Yeah. They can keep taking our money as long as they keep making good Star Wars.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Well, this was a really, really great stream tonight. So fun. I love seeing all of you in chat. I love seeing Jane and Jenny. Thank you all for being here. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed this stream. If you haven't already, thank you guys so much. We'll be back next Sunday for episode 5. I think that we are halfway through the season because season 1 had 8 episodes. So we might be halfway. This might have been the halfway point. It's very, very exciting. I feel
like the last 4 might have more arc to it than the first couple, which were more episodic. So
yeah, I'm loving. They're trickling it out in the right pace for me. I'm so into it. I want more lore. We're gonna get it like a little bit every week. It makes me happy. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Rockin' RC, Relia, Adam, Joe, Sean, everyone else in chat. Thank you guys so much. And thanks again, Adam G, for that donation. I can't wait to get my Star ET candle.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are awesome. They said there's 10 this season. That's fantastic news. Okay, so we're not halfway yet. That's awesome.
We're about to be halfway. Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye.